And then the match turned out to be pretty good. So it's not. Don't ever judge a book by its cover. Magic can get exciting with any two decks.
Yeah.
And it looks like these lists are different again. But you have the standard Liliana ×3, 2 Garrick. But we have one list that has actually. They both have 2 Abrupt Decays. How many bonfires are in this guy's deck? 0?
Yeah, I don't see any main
0
deck.
in Bria's deck, or Brian's deck, excuse me. 0 in Brian's deck, and we have 3 in Josh's deck. So we have lots of. That's a big difference. There's a one can pray for a miracle and one cannot.
Yeah, Brian has none in the board either. So.
Well, he is raw dogging it, and he looks like he's going to this guy with the 3 bonfires. Josh has 2 Raptors Return in the board and only 1 in the main, so that's going to be an advantage in the court of Brian, who has 2 in the main.
Yeah.
So we've seen Arbor Elf, and we saw that with Susan earlier, that some of the Jund decks decide to play it, even though their turn 3 is not very impressive.
Yeah, Glenn was talking about that a little while ago. He's saying a number of players are going with Arbor Elf, and it looks that way. Both of these guys have Arbor Elf, 2 copies in their main deck.
It's a very interesting choice, and again, I think they just want their Farseek 5 and 6 just to accelerate them more, and you can't fault anybody for that.
So it's 2 lands each. Josh has an Arbor Elf, and other than that, we're clear.
Yeah, the beginning of this is it's all set up, and the fireworks definitely come out after the mana has been assembled. And it feels like in this match, when we talked about some decks are like this deck, like mid-range, they turn off their aggro against some matchups and bring it on with the control, and vice versa. So we see pretty much
double Museum Mortars, Garrick, land, and Olivia, I believe, in Brian's hand. So it's going to Mortars away that Arbor Elf.
And that's an age-old question, man. Do you kill the Manador? And
Bolt the bird.
Bolt the bird. Do you do it? Because the Mortars can kill Olivia Volder, which not many of your cards can. It kills Flipped Huntmaster, which not many of your cards can. So we'll see if he will need that in the future.
Top deck's a land. Looks like he's got actually 3 lands now. Olivia, Garrick, and Museum Mortars. Josh, go ahead and play Olivia right now, and that's going to eat a Dreadbore from Josh.
Right, and Josh also has a bonfire to supplement his removal here.
And Josh draws. He's got Dreadbore, Huntmaster, Bonfire, a couple of lands, a Thragtusk. So Dreadbore for Olivia. And Josh plays a Blood Crypt. Passes back.
Olivia really is a monster in this matchup. If it goes unanswered, it's just so difficult to beat.
And there's Garrick.
That was a spicy one. And we have the Planeswalker extraordinaire here.
That Josh wishes he had that Dreadbore back.
Yeah, definitely.
Dreadbore takes out that Garrick, and he's got other spells that can deal with Olivia. Although Olivia can get out of hand too. I don't blame him for using the Dreadbore on Olivia. I think I would have done the same thing in his position. So
I would have also. I think he has to. If he's gonna play Thragtusk here, I don't know if I'd play Thragtusk. I think I'd play Huntmaster, just for the fact again that Garrick is a problem. And if he minuses the Garrick, you can kill it with Huntmaster the next turn. If he plus the Garrick, you at least bring it down to earth, and you're never gonna get that Thragtusk through. There's one thing I know, and that's how to kill Planeswalkers. Because I have mine killed all the time. When it comes to combat math and Olivia shenanigans about taking vampires, that's when you'll hear me stumble on my own words there.
Killing Planeswalkers is you do it like it's your job.
Yeah, or it's done to me like it's my job.
All right, another beast from Brian Reeves, and I see he's got at least a Stomping Ground. He's got a Museum Mortar still. He's got another Olivia.
I think I like his play of making a beast here, mainly because he's playing around a bonfire. A Miracle One won't kill it, nor will Miracle One will, because he'll have 2 of his beasts gone. But the one in his hand won't. Maybe Brian has the read on Josh, knowing he has one in his hand. Because Jund really doesn't play any burn, so to speak, in their main deck.
So he plays Olivia and immediately shoots the Thragtusk to grow Olivia, and then passes back. So
he could have drawn 4 cards this turn. We'll see how that treats him here.
So Thragtusk is going to attack. Brian's going to put a beast in front of it.
And Josh has a Tragic Slip, so we'll see. All right, so he's attacking. Oh, okay. He had Castle Wolfront.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you see, he's leaving one up for the tragic slip. So he's gonna take out Olivia too.
Right.
Post combat here.
If he would have played the Huntmaster, he could have Wolf Run Max on his Wolf token attacking, and then flipped. But then again, Brian had a Olivia, so
and that attack was at Garrick actually.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So.
And there's the tragic slip.
I like how this turned out. Because Brian had the Olivia, I like the Thragtus worked out a lot better. You don't want to get your Huntmaster stolen from you.
So Josh does a good job of clearing the board for the most part. He ends up with a beast. Brian has a beast and Garrick on one. He just plus the Garrick, makes another beast. And he's going to swing in with the one beast, and looks like a giant Kessig Wolf Run activation.
Oh,
so that's a 7-power beast.
That was good. It's dangerous because your chance on your Garrick is dead here. He has Wolf Run. So he understands that, and he's just trying to now win the life race, and he's giving up on his Planeswalker. Which is
couldn't choose to draw cards there, had only one counter on it, so the only option there was make another beast.
Yep, and then accept his doom here with the Wolf Run. And Josh will do it. He'll force him to block.
Force him to use the Wolf Run. If he wants to deal with the Garrick, he's going to have to use the Wolf Run. So Beast is attacking and being blocked by Beast, and there's the Wolf Run activation to take out the Garrick for exactly 2. So
all right, well,
Garrick goes away. 1 mana up from Josh, but passes the turn. No tragic slips this turn.
And Josh is going to take a beating again this turn. It's going to be for 8 if he plays his untapped land.
And Mizium Mortar's Farseek and I believe land in Brian's hand.
I think he plays the untapped land because when you put him to 5, with a Wolf Run, every point of damage counts, especially when the board gets a little cluttered, just trying to get that last little bit through.
Also, Brian appears to be at 19. I mean, if that life total is accurate, which I believe it is, Garrick has absorbed quite a bit of damage from Brian, so...
Shocking yourself to a biggie.
1 damage, taking 2 to deal an extra 1 here is actually worth it.
Absolutely.
So there you go, Beast attacks, Kessig Wolf Run activated for an additional 5, so that's 8. Josh should be down to 5 here.
Now that was a cool card, Beast Attack.
Beast Attack? I love that
was
card.
A cool card.
It makes a 4/4.
That used to be the old Cunning Wish kill card. I don't know if you remember, this is way back when. They would play a Mirari and you would have a good time.
Yeah. Mirari's Wake.
Yeah. And you would Cunning Wish, you can get your removed Beast Attack back and flash it back and do it again. Oh, the good old days of...
crazy magic decks.
Yeah, all spells were better than creatures. All right, well...
Josh in quite a pickle here. He's
got a lot of cards in his hand, and I think... Well, obviously, Huntmaster puts him back up in total. He can absorb most of the damage from the Beast. But we know that Brian has the Mizium Mortars in his hand, so I don't think this will save him.
I mean, I was going to say he could just bonfire for 3 here.
Right,
and that's what he does. But did he just play an untapped stomp?
He did. He goes to 3 life.
He goes to 3 just to get the bonfire. Knocks Brian down.
I feel Josh is playing real tight here, and then he's playing around Brian having a removal spell. So and he's dead. Fireball.
Oh, off the top, Rakdos' return.
Right, there's no way to avoid that anyway.
Yeah, sometimes it just wins.
Don't worry. Once they, like we talked about earlier, they're going to ban that card, and we'll all be happy.
So dump your copies now. Is that what you're saying?
Everyone, burn your Rakdos returns. They're bad cards. All right, so we have a sideboarding situation similar to the last time, where we have one player that has. Do they both have no Witchbane Orb? Neither have Witchbane Orb. So we are free to reign the targeting. We're going to bring in the Duress, or Josh is going to bring in Duress, Returns, Acidic Slime, Staff of Nim, Underworld Connection. All those are good in this case here.
Yeah, Brian has obviously a similar chunk of cards to move in. He's got an additional Rakdos return. He's got some Duresses. He's got more removal. He's got Slaughter Games. What do you think? Maybe Slaughter Games?
I think Slaughter Games in this matchup's not as good.
I mean, you can take out those Olivias, which are
right.
big problems, or opposing planeswalkers.
It definitely has the ability to. I like it after a duress, and obviously that's an obvious statement. It has. I think in this matchup it has to hit. You can't name the theoretical cards that come by. I really think Slaughter Games is in the sideboard that says take out 4 targets thanks to Revelation.
Right, that's the primary target, I'm
right.
sure.
And I mean, they board it in against other decks, but again, when you're playing against decks here, I think actually when they bring it in, you would name Thragtusk if he's not played yet, or Huntmaster, depending on if on the play, because those are the 4-ofs that are in every jump list. They're all 4-ofs.
Good call. Yeah, just to maximize your chances of hitting something.
And when you hit those, take them out, that's a huge a life loss throughout the game, because you're counting, how much life do you gain from Thragtusk or Huntmaster, depending. And obviously it goes with your hand. So I think does he have duress too? Yeah,
he has some duresses. I like bringing in the Garruk Relentless to come down earlier than his opponent's Garruks.
Remember the old Jace Belleron strategy?
Absolutely.
Yep. 4 Jace Mind Sculptors not enough. You need 4 of those and then 3 Bellerons.
He's got some more removal. He's got a copy of Murder that I could see him bringing in to sever the bloodline as well.
Sever's good.
Sever's great, especially all those beasts.
Yep. I think it really comes down to removal in this matchup and taking care of the board. And if all else fails, then having a solid Rakdos return doesn't hurt as well.
Both players have access to Staff of Nin. Now Brian actually has it main deck, just 1 copy. Obviously, both players have just 1 copy.
These games go long.
Has 1 in the board as well. It's a card that just I keep seeing it just as a 1-of, but I keep seeing people playing it. I haven't played with it myself just because something about it seems like, 6 mana for that. I used to be able to tap 6 mana and get 2 lands and a 6/6 trampler.
I used to be able to do so much for 6 mana. That's all my buck buys me now. It really is just one of those card advantage things, and especially in this matchup when you're playing Jund, the card advantage is tough to come by. So it's not. I mean, I don't think it's that good against a lot of decks. I mean, if you're playing against a deck that has a 1 or 2 drop, I wouldn't play it. But against these slow junk mid-range decks, that's pretty good.
It's interesting because you look and you go, okay, so it's a 1-sided Howling Mine. How much would I pay for a 1-sided Howling Mine? If the regular Howling Mine costs 2, I can see 3 mana for a 1-sided Howling Mine. That seems reasonable. And then 3 mana for a pinger that's harder to deal with than like Prodigal Sorcerer, or is it Staticaster? The other, Cunning Spark Mage, whatever you wanna go. Those cost 3. Those are creatures that cost 3 that deal 1 to target creature or player. And here you have an artifact that's doing it, and you just staple them together, and you have 6 mana for 1-sided Howling Mine plus a pinger. So.
Right. I mean, if you remember that Triumph, it gets out of hand. Like if you're in this matchup, if you get to a top deck situation, or not even top deck, if you're down to 2-3 cards, or you get Rakdos returned, if you have that in play, it's very hard for your opponent to win that game. All right, so we have Josh on the play. I see an Arbor Elf and Underworld Connections.
Visiting Mortars.
Again, look at the mana, and it's just so hard with Arbor Elf. Arbor Elf is just not Farseek, and we're seeing that right now. He's got Forest, Temple Garden, Woodland Cemetery, and he has a single black. So he's not gonna be able to cast Underworld unless he draws a black source. I like his hand. I'd keep it still, but man, what if that was like an Elves of the Deep Shadow? Tap for black right here. I would definitely play, because then you can guarantee that turn 2 Liliana, which they play, at turn 2 Underworld Connections, and then even Vampire Nighthawk from before.
Right.
But it's not, and that's not legal, so we'll move on with our lives.
Yeah, it looks like Brian has access to 2 Mortars as well. So turn 1 to Arbor Elf from Josh. Both players keep on 7. Stomping Grounds from Brian. Tapped. Passes back. Huntmaster off the top for Josh.
It's a good draw. I don't know if he doesn't have the red mana, though.
Yeah, he's going to need to find a way to get some.
Did I say Temple Garden? I did not mean to say Temple Garden. I meant to say Woodland Cemetery. Yeah, Woodland Cemetery Forest is his hand. Again, you see what happened here? He played the Merfolk of the Pearl Trident there, and he's taxed for 1.
Yeah.
So it's just he needs to draw. If he draws a red source here, well, he's not going to even give him the chance. So
yeah. So Mizzium Mortars takes out the Arbor Elf.
Is that a black source? I think that is.
He finds
what? Why didn't you play Underworld Connections?
Yeah, didn't want to take the 2, I guess.
I have to
Overgrown
missee his hand. He must not have it.
No, I'm pretty sure he's got Underworld connections. I'm almost positive.
Now he's gonna have to play it. No,
No, he's not.
I don't understand.
Maybe I'm wrong, and I thought he had Underworld connections.
What is that black card?
Yeah.
He's flipping.
There's
quick.
an Underworld connection for Brian, and it's an Underworld connections.
I see it. Why is he not casting the card?
So Underworld connections for Brian on a forest,
He's just basically.
and was that draw go, and then
Yeah, he's drawing.
Brian
The
just
third
drew a
time he's
card.
drawing go with it.
And there's another land for Brian.
There's gonna be a 6 line here. Or this is a Thragtusk, I think, or a 6 line. I can't tell on Brian's hand.
We're going to find out momentarily, especially if it's an acidic slime, because it's going to take out one of those lands.
Right.
Probably the overgrown too.
Oh, Garrett.
Oh no, it's a Garrick. Okay.
Even better.
Yeah, Garrick resolves, gets a beast, and
Right.
Josh now. I believe he just drew Farseek, so that could help. Should help. It's going to cost him a turn.
I can't even like calculate how far behind Josh is right now, though. This is very, very behind.
Yeah, I am kind of surprised he didn't go ahead and
He would have drawn 3 more cards.
cast that Underworld Connections. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I can sort of understand the first time maybe he just doesn't want. He figures the 2 life will be 2 cards later for the Underworld Connections, but he's not casting it, so
yeah, I think it's.
he's doing nothing.
I think he might be just frustrated of not hitting land drops, and just maybe a frustration passing a turn.
Yeah, that's. I mean, but he was making no other use of his mana there. You know what I mean? He
Right.
was just draw go. There's no reason why not, unless he's just playing around acidic slime. But you know,
even the
acidic slime screws you either way.
Right,
when you
you're
have
dead
to be
anyway to
honest.
that card, and that's gonna.
So another beast from Brian.
Gonna play Olivia Volder in here. With,
Josh representing blocking with a Farseek.
oh, he has a 5. Never mind. Yeah, exactly.
That can go to the graveyard.
Farseek's
It's
floating there.
Long since
He's just
resolved.
hoping it happens again. Maybe he thought it was one of those epic spells that recur there.
Thragtusk.
Practice
Beast,
return.
beast on Brian's side next to that Garrick. I guess if I'm Brian, I keep making beasts, but I kind of want to draw cards.
Right,
too.
if I'm Josh here, I kind of want to just crawl into a small space and be a little
Very
sad
far
here.
behind, down a game. Now he plays a Huntmaster, so gonna try to get back into this. Come on, Josh.
Yeah.
Huntmaster Wolf, and passes back. Brian's gonna draw another card. Yeah, I guess he doesn't need to draw cards with Garrick when he's got Underworld connections.
Right, yeah.
And he just gained 5 with a Thragtusk, so.
Unlimited card supply. I think, yeah, Josh is pretty unlucky there because he had those lands in the opener with the Arbor Elf and he just never hit that land. That's the risk of having a 2-lander on the play that we've seen so many times. Do you mulligan it? Do you not? It's tough. I personally am having a bad mulliganing rules, so I don't want to sound hypocritical here. So Brian here, pay more life, which he is at liberty to do due to where he's at. I think he's going to Mortar's Overload.
Yeah, it looks like it. Gonna use that just to clear away the Huntmaster.
Yep, and the Wolfie.
Yeah, and he basically trades the Mortars for the Huntmaster,
Right.
besides the 2 life.
I think he's going to ultimate Garrick here and end the game that turn. He can just plus it here and then ultimate the next turn. And then he creates 7 6
He's
sixes.
just drawing a ton of cards.
Okay. He's just, I mean, that's what I want to do. I'm glad he did it. He doesn't want to draw a ton of cards, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's like ultimating Garrick.
Right.
Now he's looking at the discard. He discards Underworld Connection, Stomping Grounds.
There's no card in Magic right now that can save Josh. He does not play. He does not. Oh wait, he does have Bonfire. Never mind.
Yeah.
He's the Bonfire guy. So
Yeah,
he could have
Brian
Miracle
doesn't
the
have
Bonfire.
Bonfire.
Sorry. So he could have Miracle the Bonfire. He did not. So even if he plays a Huntmaster, I think I saw a Kessig Wolfrun in Brian's hand, which will equate dead.
Stomping Grounds for Josh finally has that 5th land.
Is that a Kessig Wolfrun? I think it is in Brian's hand. I think it's in the
Brian,
middle.
I'm pretty sure Brian does have a.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is, right on top now. Kessig Wolfrun just taking us, or showing us. So, pretty sure Brian's got this match.
Right, and
That should. This is after round 9. Yeah, so Brian came into this match in 4th place.
that will put him into the top
And there
8.
it is. Brian is going to He's going to be here bright and early tomorrow morning with us.
He will be. He will be.
So, just to remind you guys, if